I love it. This entire plot line by the Aldoa Kingdom in order to bring peace upon the land and be glorified for it is completely foiled by the fact that Tanya has zero understanding about how her fellow soldiers feel. Like, just assuming that everybody's going to follow command, that they all want peace. Again, we've been building up for this entire season, how Tanya's going, this is bad. This is super bad. We're losing. We're losing the line. We can't hold it. We're actually going to fail. We're going to actually lose this war. And that's so curious because over there, Kurt and Hans, I guess I'm calling them by their first names because I hate saying Rudenstorff. Kurt and Hans, I think it was them two that were in that bar reminiscing about the old times and acknowledging that they're screwed. Everybody knows this is not going well. They all want it to end, and that's what a lot of emphasis in this episode is that this isn't good. Even Aldoa knows that. They're struggling. They're even wanting to pay us with stuff that they're pillaging. They're not doing good. And even when the guy goes and inspects, he noticed that there's like all this money going into them. Like this can't last. These people are struggling. Everybody's acknowledging that they're screwed right now. And so Aldoa wants to sweep in there and help them. And assuming that, again, with Tanya, they're just going to accept this. But that's the failure there. That's the break there, is that when finally it goes up to them really talking about it, it seems like, based on how this episode ends, Kurt's like everybody else. Kurt's like everybody else. Yes, Hans is like Tanya. They want it to end. Whatever it costs us, just cut your losses and walk away. Let's end this. But again, everybody else, and Kurt's over here going, no, we're going to command, and we're telling them, no. We're not going to lose all this. We're not going to bend to what they want. There may be an element there as well that Kurt, in talking to, the higher-ups, probably told them, hey, guys, this is a sign that they're not doing too well, too. And we can use this to our advantage. We're going to do this whole operation. And that's going to turn into, obviously, for the sake of entertainment in this series, that's going to obviously turn into Tanya being stuck with some crazy operation that, they have to do now. That whole thing. But yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Tanya just going up there and acting like they know everything. No, you don't know. And it sucks because I think, again, a lot of this episode is kind of just showing that desperation, that issue there, all the way building up to it. But I think that was so telling with that conversation. I forget who the guy's name was, but Weiss was in the room. Tanya and this other guy that I forget his name, Uger. Tanya, Uger, and Weiss, that whole like assumption there that Tanya has in that conversation of, yeah, there's talks about these observers being here. I got stuck with one. He's checking things out. Yeah, I'm guessing that the higher-ups are talking peace. They want to talk peace. And I love how he kind of lays out the assumptions there. So like, yeah, probably both sides, push down their arms. They're probably going to just give up on the idea of reparations. They're probably going to like give up the lands they've conquered. Everything's going to go back to how it was, just reset there. Everybody walks away. You'll probably have like some peace treaties, sign that kind of lowers how many munitions we have or whatever, how much military equipment we have, just to kind of show that sign of peace. And everybody, walks away, right? That's probably what we're going for there. And that'd be great, right? Right? He's like, what did Uger say? He said something effective like, that would be peace without honor. Or that would not be peace with honor. Which I understand that mindset there, is the idea that if we did that, it would be a disgrace. Because again, we've been fighting this war for so long. And again, going back to what she eventually says there is that sunk cost fallacy concept there of the idea that we've sacrificed so much, blood has been shed so much, and we're going to just walk away from it. We're just going to walk away from everything. What about those that died before us? Like literally, like the day of signing, and this is sadly a thing that happens often in war, that day of the signing of the peace treaties, a lot of people probably lost their lives. So many people died that day. What for? That whole idea there. And yes, that's going to cause a lot of people to potentially want to uprise on the government. That could be seen as a weakness in the government itself, and people would rise against it because, again, their children were sent off to war. This war that got us nothing. That idea there. Uger's trying to push it upon him. Again, that's what Weiss follows up with. No, wait, Weiss, you agree with me, right? I love Weiss's reaction here. It is so good. He's like, I understand what you're saying, Tanya. What you're saying there is true. We're just going to keep shedding more blood. Why would we want to continue? We've lost so much. Why lose more? Stop now, and we stop losing. But I can't accept it. I just can't accept what you're saying. I think it's logical, but I can't go with it. Because all you're saying is just logic. That's all you have there. It's a really interesting way of kind of viewing it. And again, that's what I think a lot of these individuals, the soldiers, are going to feel. No, we've already lost too much. Which is so interesting to kind of see how much Tanya is so disconnected from her fellow soldiers. And the fact that they all see that loss. They see what their nation has lost. They see what their fellow soldiers have lost. But Tanya's always been disconnected from that. Tanya's always had a disconnection from the fellow soldiers, which I kind of wonder if there's more in the novel series that does show more connection with them, but for sure it feels like it's always been disconnected. Able to send people out there to die, which is a good thing to have for a commander, honestly, but it's because of their situation. They want to be disconnected, and thus that leads to not understanding that feeling of loss, that feeling of losing things and not wanting to. All Tanya thinks is, I want to have peace so I can get the hell away from this. I know what being X is doing, and I don't want to get involved with this stuff. I just want to have a peaceful life here. Stop getting me involved with this stuff. If I can walk away, I'm going to do it. But no, they don't want to do that. Wise, again, doesn't want to do that. It's again, very, very cool little perspective here. And again, it's interesting to see how, yes, response to that is with the command wanting peace. Tanya knows this now because, again, got to sign this observer. Tanya, knowing that they want peace, was in fear here of the fact that if they end up doing this, I might have to fight these people. all of my fellow soldiers aren't going to like the idea of this peace. I might be sent to take them down at some point because it doesn't seem like they want what's currently happening. But again, very, very interesting little episode and getting into that kind of stuff. I just kind of jumped right into the discussion here, but very interesting to kind of dive into the stuff. I guess to get around most of the stuff from the beginning here, I kind of glossed over it. But yeah, we did open up the episode with the Aldoa Kingdom seeing again this weakness that is happening, or at least a sign of weakness, and wanting to get involved. I can sort of see this. It is interesting that they sort of played off doing some sort of military exercise in order to get a chance to speak to the military officials. It seems like based on their understanding here is that we want to kind of work with you so that we can feel things out, so that we can go to the table for peace talks. But they didn't want to go to the higher ups of the empire. They wanted to go straight to the military personnel and ask them. So they created this fake exercise they were doing, while this also at the same time, it kind of implied the idea of them flexing a little bit. That was kind of an interesting thing there that I didn't really fully grasp. It felt like they were kind of flexing a little bit, showing what they were capable of, or at least showing some of their military force. But either way, it seems like this is all, again, to create a opportunity to communicate to the military personnel and kind of present this idea of observing, seeing what's there, and then using that when they go to the tables to talk to, the Federation and whatnot. It was funny because the subtitles were so messed up here. The subtitles for Calandro and Gasman were like flipped in the first meeting of them. So when it jumped over to showing Lurgan and he was communicating to them, I thought that he was actually hiding his identity by acting like the other person because the names flipped. The names flipped mid-episode. So I had to go back and actually translate the text on the screen to verify, the subtitles are screwed up. Okay, good job. But no, the whole segment with this guy having to spend time with Tanya was just absolutely classic. Of course, the initial introduction of Tanya and how he's like, wow, you're actually as small as they say or whatever. He's like, yeah, less surface area, so it's harder for the bullets to hit or something like that. So be careful about stray bullets or something like that. That was so good. Again, him sort of seeing how everything here looks like it's very well disciplined. They're eating warm meals. Talking about how that's very good to, morale of the actual soldiers. But then, yeah, eventually getting into the enemy tank group that was in the village. Classic Tanya. It was absolutely classic Tanya. This idea of just shelling it. Just artillery all over the place. Wait, no, that's against wartime law. That's a violation of international wartime law. You can't do that. Well, wartime law, that requires them to be a part of it. They're not signed into it, so they're not a part of that. It's the people that are involved that have signed into it. They're not a part of that, last I checked. So no, it doesn't apply to them. Oh, well, there's a church there. That's against the laws. No, that's just a building. There's no markings there that, classify it as a church. Go ahead and look for the marks. Yeah, there's no marks there. Okay, go ahead and fire. It's again, this doesn't apply here. It's still unfortunate to see that's still a thing there. It's still a village. But again, there is the element there. This is war. And even Tanya talks about the fact that they're doing it to us. Again, there's this element of The enemy tanks are probably there for the sake of thinking that it's going to protect them. They're seeking refuge in the location, or it just could be a fake location. It shows they're not weak. Again, it's pretty much what he brings back to the Colonel. These people are not weak. But yeah, that leads into the guy asking Tanya straight up, like, what kind of conditions do you think would you accept? Like, what would you actually accept in order to end this war? How do you see it actually going forward? And the response is what Tanya thinks that the other guys would want. No conditions, that they would follow their orders. They would just follow anything, just go into war or whatever. Whatever the command wants is what we're going to go with. But no, how it wraps up this episode, I think, was very, very interesting. And again, I feel it's more of a different perspective between both Kurt and Hans. Again, it seemed like the two of them, based on that previous conversation, did see eye to eye. They both seen this was not going well, that they're going to lose. But I'm assuming that Kurt's seen something that we didn't see yet, or at least hasn't been pointed out yet to Hans. And it seems like even though Hans was trying to go forward with this and was like talk about how things have fallen apart, they haven't accepted what we want, but we're still going to pursue negotiations. Kurt went straight to the headquarters and got the approval to just fight back. No, we're not. We're going to seize this destiny. We're going to put destiny in our own hands. We're not going to allow Aldoa to, pursue this and put our future in their hands. No, we're going to seize it ourselves. We're just gonna fight. I'll be curious to see if they get more into exactly what kind of drove that. And again, I think it's probably gonna come down to what Wise and all them we're talking about. They probably feel the same way. No, we've shed enough blood. We got to keep fighting. And I can see the leadership kind of accepting that. Partly because, again, accepting this is going to be a sign that the government is weak and they essentially folded. It is a surrender. It is a surrender in many of their eyes. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit that like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.